Iniciemos entonces con la conferencia Blockchain y la transformación digital. Invitamos al señor Manie Eagar, Chairman Blockchain Association of Canada. Bienvenido, señor Eagar. Welcome to Cartagena de Indias and to ANDICOM 2017, Mr. Eagar.
Good morning, everyone. Hope your English is good. Who of you in the room have heard of Bitcoin? Are you all familiar with Bitcoin? You all have heard about blockchain? Put up your hands. Great stuff. I'm from Canada, as you might hear, but I'm also from Africa, where we've worked with various of these projects for a long period of time, which in blockchain world works in dog years. Things are developing so fast in this sector of the industry, it's hard sometimes to keep up. But I've been involved as chairman of the Blockchain Association of Canada and working in digital transformation for a number of years now. And as you'll see from our association, we started in 2013. Blockchain was, or Bitcoin blockchain was only invented in 2008, but it very, very quickly started getting everybody's attention, and you all might have heard of Bitcoin, or you will hear about Bitcoin shortly, the world's arguably greatest cryptocurrency, with a huge market cap that grew phenomenally over a very short period of time. What we felt we had to do in Canada is get people to understand and learn how to use these new technologies, especially as it converges and integrates with what we today just call information technology. So we have educational programs, we have workshops, we run blockathons across Canada and now in a number of other countries as well, which I'll share with you shortly. So why is blockchain so important? Blockchain is a foundational technology as far as we are concerned, and similar to the internet, will become the technology of the future that will integrate across multiple platforms. Just walking the floor this morning, getting here, all the technologies that's on display here and being showcased by various vendors in one way or another will be affected by blockchain, or they'll be able to use it going forward. And you're going to hear a lot more about this technology in the future and in your region. So for a region or a country such as yourselves, Colombia and Latin America at large, to engage with this technology, it's a slow process in the beginning, but eventually when it takes off and people start onboarding, it moves very, very fast. We had a workshop, a meetup in Toronto last week, and over 1,000 people arrived just for an evening workshop on blockchain. And it was the largest meetup for blockchain in North America. And you can see how these hubs and centers are starting to sprout up as people start engaging with this technology. And you obviously have the opportunity in Colombia and Cartagena to be a hub for these type of activities. Why is blockchain so important? Blockchain is a fundamental technology that provides digital and distributed ledger services across which you can read and write information in an immutable fashion. In other words, it can't be altered or messed with afterwards or falsified. It's time-stamped, so it's unique. And that, as people have started figuring out, is a unique way of working with information, your personal information, with business information, and with a range of business applications. So the first truly revolutionary application of the blockchain was the Bitcoin. And Bitcoin obviously has a very interesting history. There's been some incidents which the media have picked up on, but Bitcoin is here to stay. It's a decentralized digital currency on a blockchain which up to now has not been hacked. It has spawned the largest computer network in the world by phenomenal orders of scale. And it brought us cryptocurrency that you literally on the phone, in your pocket, mobile phone in your pocket, can send and receive money, any amount, where in the world, in real time, without an intermediary. So you don't need a bank anymore, you do not need a bank account, and it has all kinds of implications in terms of disturbing or disrupting the whole way we approach and work with finance. The next aspect, now I saw Intel and SAP and obviously large network organizations displayed outside, peer-to-peer networking takes on a whole new dimension using blockchain technology. We don't have time to go into detail, and time-stamped record keeping. And of course, smart contracts. What smart contracts allow us to do is automate standard legal processes around the world, which has huge implications for global trade and for reaching and unpacking billions of people literally as we speak. And people have figured out that 9 out of 10 legal agreements, from property purchases or transfers to vehicle purchases and transfers, can be automated in a significant way, making it safer, making it verifiable, and obviously speeding up the way in which we can do business. So one of the key aspects of blockchain, or promises that it holds out, is that we can reach billions of people who are underserved financially. On the other side of the so-called Bitcoin, we can unbank the unbanked. Bitcoin, as I just shared with you briefly, gives us a technology that allows us to transact without an intermediary, a bank or an agent. It's frictionless, low-cost forex and remittances is another key application. It's instant compliant for trade and settlement, affordable micropayments. If we're going to start doing business, e-commerce on the internet, which is taking off phenomenally around the world, just come back from Shanghai. Everybody is online. No one goes to a shop anymore. All purchases are done in that fashion across China and Asia. And in small payments, microtransactions, but it's done in an affordable, easy to pay, and very cost-effective manner. It's revolutionizing the whole business of financial technology. The creation of new digital asset classes. You're going to hear a lot about tokenizing of assets in the near future. I don't know if any of you have worked with tokens. Bitcoin is just a token on the Bitcoin blockchain. People are increasingly using tokens to represent value. Digital, like for instance, some of my clients are starting to, who've invested in gold. They want to represent their gold and create liquidity around their precious metals assets. And they issue tokens which you can go and trade on these exchanges, creating a whole new way in which people engage with money. In the first 6 months of this year, more money was raised through token issuing via a blockchain than VCs for early startups in the world. So it's also a new way for startups and entrepreneurs to get money, to develop their businesses, and get the startups to a commercial stage. So the World Economic Forum are one of the entities through which Canada has directly engaged to promote the use of blockchain, to share lessons that we've learned in blockchain over the last few years. I was privileged when I was working in Toronto a few years ago to meet the Ethereum team. If any of you have heard of Ethereum or not yet, please look it up. It's a new blockchain that evolved from Bitcoin to enable smart contracts and new ways commercially to deploy in a very fast and smart manner blockchain applications or distributed ledger applications. Major vendors such as Microsoft and IBM have developed and enhanced this further and embedded it in their data management structures. And we're running large projects globally around these applications, looking at health, looking at digital identity, looking at property ownership, and last but not least, of course, financial transactions and inter-exchange of value, especially through the tokenization of assets. Very exciting and very new dynamic aspects to these developments is also the addition now of artificial intelligence, robotics, big data, robotics, predictive analytics, and other applications, making this probably the most exciting development in technology in our lifetimes. So I think key question for your creative economy and digital transformation theme here over the last 2 days is how do we enable this? How do we bootstrap our economy, our digital hubs, our investments in technology to take advantage of these opportunities? And the key here, and that's what we've learned. I'm from Vancouver, British Columbia, on the west side of Canada. We're not near Toronto, which is our big hub at this point in time, is to look at what do we have in our ecosystem that works for us. Where do we have the skills? Where do we have the abilities? Where have we made our investments in digital and technology and in transformational aspects, which has a society side to it as well. Management of people's privacy, management of people's digital identity, providing digital citizenship services, all become political issues even, but we're all invested in it and we all have an identity, so we are all affected. So what we've done is we've started looking at how these different technologies impact and can be leveraged and made interoperable to take full advantage of what these technologies have to offer. And the three key areas in those circles that I've highlighted there is obviously digital commerce. If you're in a remote region anywhere in the world, or if you have large rural areas, I'm originally from Africa, as I've mentioned, big issues reaching people in rural areas. These technologies enable us to touch everybody, to provide or extend these services to anybody regardless of where they are, and make it accessible and make them participate in ways that they couldn't have before, just through sheer logistics or non-access to the technology. Internet of Value Exchange, I've mentioned, and of course blockchain is still growing up as we speak, and we're going to see dramatic changes and developments in the space over the next few years. So it's not too late to engage, it's only just starting. The journey has just started. In the ecosystem play, what we did, and I did a study for the Canadian government around what do we need to do, and this was 18 months ago, what do we need to do as Canada and in our different centers around the country, and it's a vast country, as you know, it's probably the second or third biggest in the world or largest in landmass, is what do we have already that we can invest in and enhance further to take advantage of this. And we found that we have all these technologies already in our ecosystem. So I'm sure this information will be accessible, or just ping me if you need to, and I can share this deck with you. We found that in all the ecosystems around the world, if you have the following ingredients in place to varying degrees, you have everything that it takes to fully take advantage of this technology, short of, and that's our biggest challenge, skills development. We need the skills. We need the young millennials, as we call them in Canada, to onboard and get excited about this and the opportunities that these technologies have to offer. So internet was just the first phase. blockchain is going to take with these other technologies, these foundational applications to the next level. So what we have today, and I think South America is similar to Africa, so I can make the comparison, is where we have old legacy systems that we've been used to for decades, and legacy applications in terms of our business processes that we now need to bootstrap or alter or change or refresh altogether through proper governance. And where the two come together is where we need to apply trust and provide access to all the citizens who can benefit from this and contribute to the economy. At the end of the day, we're creating new jobs through these new skills. And again, governance, we don't have time to get into that. There are then layers sitting behind that, ranging from government to the private sector, to the NGOs, to academia, who all have a role to play in making this happen. So what we have in the new world of the digital economy is that we've all become co-creators of value. Where, for instance, if we're in the creative economy side or the creative industry, and we're in music or theater or writing or code development or whatever, we can now do that and provide access from anywhere in the world. We can, through the internet and through these blockchain technologies, we can manage these processes and at the end of the day, reward people for their efforts and skills and contributions. So if you start layering this out, production and consumption and inter-exchange of goods and services, and there's too much detail to go into here today, through the decentralized application, peer-to-peer networking aspects of the blockchain technology, we can provide literally access to all. And that's the grand vision, is that we're busy building the world computer for everybody here, is the kind of language that you'll get. Now, a good example of where this is happening as we speak, a good friend of mine from Colombia is the founder of Singular DTV. He's now based out of Switzerland, and I'll be there next week meeting with a team where they've actually gone and created digital rights management via the blockchain for people in the creative industry. So if you want to produce a movie, or you've written a song, or you've done some advertising, or you do web development, regardless of the area of expertise that you're engaged in via these digital platforms, you can literally record and list your rights on a blockchain. And remember, we can capture data and information immutably, and by immutably means we can't alter it. No one can go and falsify it. It's recorded in time, and you can go and sell this commodity, this song, this movie, this video clip. Everyone watches Facebook nowadays. The young generation watch Facebook. They don't watch TV anymore, or YouTube rather. That's where all the interaction takes place. What Singular DTV does, and it's busy expanding through regional offices, it just launched its first regional office in South America and Costa Rica, and is looking for partners in other countries, is to bring young, independent producers and developers on board the creative economy, but protect their rights and make sure that they are rewarded for use of the materials and products that they produce. And from Colombia. So how did we grow this in Canada? What we've done is we looked at what are the emerging frameworks for adoption and who do we need to engage to make this all happen. This is too much information for this presentation, but I'll quickly refer to the headlines. You need a sound and safe business environment for people to engage and invest in these technologies in your space. You need friendly policy and regulation. Some countries are grappling with this Bitcoin cryptocurrency thing. Japan, for instance, has made it legal. It's created a whole new industry. You can now go to any supermarket in Japan, and there's hundreds of thousands of them and shops, and use Bitcoin to pay for services and goods. But it took the regulator a while to get there, but they are there now, and there's a whole new industry, secondary industry growing up around this application. Business incentives. In Canada, we're looking very seriously at entrepreneurship visas, incentives, sponsorships for major industry service providers to support our economy. location and setup, accessible capital, markets, stakeholder alignment. This whole coming together here is about bringing people together with similar and common interests. Networks of influence, marketing and promotion, talent and skills pool, I can't emphasize that enough, R&D and innovation, and entrepreneurship. So what we did in conclusion in Canada is, and that's what I'm the chair of, is we brought all these stakeholders together in rooms like this and discussed what is the industry component to all of this, the academic side. We work very closely with all our leading academic institutions, international and local and regional bodies, and of course government that provides a friendly environment in which we can get this all done. To finish, we now have an agenda through a super cluster sponsored by the Canadian government. 200 million Canadian dollars has been put into a fund to develop blockchain as a leading industry and value proposition for Canada. And we're looking for partners. We just signed a partnership with Argentina and yesterday with Brazil. Out of Canada that we're going to work with and collaborate, and we obviously invite yourselves to approach us as well. Industry partnerships vital. Training and skills development, that's our biggest shortfall and shortcoming, is we don't have enough people with skills who can start integrating and applying this. We're creating centers of excellence at all our major centers, and obviously we're looking at our competitive advantage and with our partners again, and to support global standards. We don't have time to get into that, but thank you very much. That's where we're coming from in Canada. We would like to reach out to your region and your organization here and see how we can make this all happen. Thank you very much for your time and attention. Cheers.
Muchas gracias, señor Eagar, por sus valiosos aportes. Thank you very much for your interesting presentation, Mr. Eagar.